So, game one here. We've been watching a lot of PvZ in this series. A lot of PvP. Or this tournament. What are we going to see here now that it is, in fact, a PvT? What does MAXPAX do? I mean, I guess we saw Guitar King versus Gumiho, but that was a series that was not really in question. We all knew what the outcome of that one was going to be, even as Guitar King tried to make something happen. So, does MAXPAX go open Twilight? Does he open up Stargate? Twilight is probably the play. Just knowing MAXPAX, and honestly, in general, Twilight is really the opener that you're going to see for the most part. There we go. We got Twilight coming on down here as the Adept for now. It's just going to be annoying. It will not be able to delay this command center, as command center is just about done, and he kind of shading in there is really, it's a death trap. So it's not really going to be worth it for our Zealot at this point. But now there are two of them, and you know, two Zealots can one tap the damaged SCV as long as the SCV is taking more than 5 HP. But otherwise, it's fine. It's now at this point, it's just all about scouting. You can say, okay, hey, there's the Hellion on the map. There are a lot of Marines, and actually, you don't want to go up the high ground into that. These defs are going to be forced to shade out here. There's just going to be a little bit too much damage from Heromarine for right now. And MAXPAX behind this, of course. There is Blink. There is that second gateway. So he's really not showing too much, keeping his cards to his chest for the most part. But really, based off this robo positioning, it is looking like this is going to be 2-gate expand for MAXPAX. Has a nice job with the pro for the body block. So there we go. Third base coming down at 350 at the proper time for, of course, 2-gate expand. And Heromarine, he's opened up the taps on the aggression just a little bit. It's going to be some Banshee play here in this game number one, hoping to catch MAXPAX off guard just a little bit. MAXPAX, well, he did not go Observer first. In fact, he's going Warp Prism first off of 2 gateways. That is interesting. Normally, you don't commit to Warp Prism aggression off of only 2 gates. You'll see it off 3, you'll see it off 4, but generally, you're not getting a Warp Prism at all for the most part with 2-gate play. But it looks like MAXPAX says, yeah, that's fine. I can represent power even if I'm not there. It's nice line up there. 2 workers will go down for the price of a single heli, and you're going to be happy about that one if you're Heromarine. But the Warp Prism is now out on the map here. We do have stuff running across the map, but the Banshee is winding its way on in. And of course, a cloak is done. There is no detection on the map here for MAXPAX right now. He can chrono it out. An Observer is popping out now. But, well, actually, no, it should be out in time. The question is where is it going to be? Is now 2 more gateways are going to finish. So this is going to be effectively like the delayed 4-gate pressure. Stalker's going to blink on top of this tank. It's going to get one shot off. But it will go down here. This bunker is doing something, but it should... No, okay, it's not going to go down. Meanwhile, Banshee's found its way on into the main base. And it will force a recall here. Workers are starting to go down. There's the recall just for the Observer. And that means that eventually this Banshee will get taken out here, but it should be able to get into the dead airspace. Not find too much value. Now Banshee in the third as well. Every sort of pressure that MAXPAX was looking for, he's not really finding it, and his army in the middle of the map is getting caught out as well. This push from Heromarine is a terrifying one. He's lost 1 SCV from the push. Oh, no, actually, no, he just lost Marines. He still has those 2 SCVs, which is going to keep the tank alive. Just buffering for things a little bit as Stalkers take tremendous damage. In the main base here, this Banshee's got 5. The other Banshee has 5 as well. 13 probes have died. MAXPAX, he's down 9 workers. He's up a base, sure, but this push from Heromarine is only going to serve to be more. Oh, Banshee will survive. After all, tank's going to siege up here as well. These Stalkers have to be very careful, and the Warp Prism is going to have to be... You got to be careful on that one now. The shield battery overcharge is going to die immediately, but a lot of these Marines are falling down, so that is something. And with the charge being done, there's not a lot to buffer for these tanks, as they're going to look to really just target fire down the Stalkers as much as they can. The Propul is actually going to be intensely effective, and Heromarine will get cleaned up, but still 24 probes have died. The Banshee is still causing problems. There's not enough anti-air until right now to really deal with it. So, Heromarine. He's got his 3 barracks done. He's getting onto a 4th and 5th. He has the orbital in his main, or he has his 3rd orbital complete. He's going to shift it over immediately. He's up, what? 21 workers. He's in a damn good spot. And it's really going to be difficult for MAXPAX to find a way back into it. So what is MAXPAX doing? He's not waiting. He's not saying, well, if I take this game to 30 minutes, maybe I can make the comeback. No, it's the age-old, well, time to YOLO it in. If I can kill you, if I can get enough damage to equalize, this can be great. If not, well, I guess I'm sunk. And, MAXPAX's army is a biggin. And with these chargeless able to get on top of the tanks as well, the tank as just a solid defensive utility is not quite there. One tank will go down. Immortal is not going to be able to get on top of the seconds. The chargeless are starting to find some value. Does MAXPAX have enough here? It's starting to look like he might if he has another round of warpins. A lot of these SCVs are going down. There we go, another round of warpins. He can only afford 4 zealots, not 6. But the stalkers get on top of the tank, so the tank's not a defensive tool. And I think MAXPAX may have found his timing. The immortal is still firing strong. It is really being as immortal as its name says. It really is knocking down a lot of these marauders. But there they go. The immortal will go down now. But Heromarine, now he's the one with an economic deficit. He's the one that is struggling to defend things. As Chargers get warped in again and again and again and again. Marauders are really not good against this army. You need a lot of Marines to deal with the charge lots, and you just can't afford that right now. Tanks are going to pop out, but really only to their doom. And MAXPAX, he found his timing. He took so much damage from the push. But at the end of the day, it's going to be too much. MAXPAX, he takes game 1. So what does Heromarine do in a game where he says, I don't know. I kind of shouldn't have lost that game number 1. Let me get a quick counter. Well, it's going to be for a proxy reaper. Now, MAXPAX should be, he knows what's happening here. He gets to scout in the main base. He sees kind of the lack of buildings, and he sees where this SCV is coming from. So he knows what's up. He's going to build a zealot here just to tank the reaper. I mean, again, the goal of the building the zealot here is not to kill the reaper. You're really not going to do that, but it tanks for it. It means that the probes don't die. It means you just kind of have this sacrificial unit. And folks, if you're worried about the life of a reaper, and you're like, of a zealot, you're like, wow, you just built that to die? That's not humane. Well, advanced Protoss technology means that little wisp of thing you see up in the air, as the Reaper already taken some significant damage. It will get 1 worker, because the Zealot is not in position headed to go deal with the shield bat, or excuse me, with the, oh wait, the Reaper? The Reaper? The Reaper is going to get out. But it's only going to get 1 worker. Of course, the Zealot had to deal with the eBay of the natural, so that is why, of course, the Reaper did find value there, was able to get the 1 worker down. But that's going to be just about it. Even as a second Reaper is getting made, so maybe not. By the way, this pylon in just this scouting pylon in the main base is so annoying for Heromarine at this point. And the Stalker has to be very careful because the 2 Reapers can actually fight the Stalker. Well, at least not until the Zealot shows up, which is just going to force the Reapers to micro more. But it looks like MAXPAX for now, he's not going to commit too hard to this one. Actually, now he's got a second Stalker. Maybe he will. Now the bunker is complete, so the Reapers, they can retreat into it. They're going to be fine there. But the big news is eventually when this pylon goes down, there's a reason that MAXPAX, that Heromarine is maintaining this pylon in his main base, even as, it gives up so much vision. And that is pure and simply because Heromarine wants to make sure he has a wall. And right now, the pylon is serving as part of that wall, but will not be forever, as 2 additional barracks will go down here. So it's going to be 3 racks. There's a factory on the way. But this is really... looks like it's going to be a 3 racks play. Well, I guess he's going to get a starboard soon too, so maybe not. Okay, so MAXPAX going for that blink follow-up. 3rd base on the way as well. So he's, again, just developing his tech a little bit more. But where does Heromarine go from here? It looks like it's just going to be +1 stim. right? Getting those 2 barracks before the starport, not crazy in the game state. He had a lot more minerals than he did have gas, so you might as well build those barracks as you wait to make sure you have the gas for the starport. But anyway, stim's on the way, +1's on the way. We're going to see combat shields as well. Yeah, Heromarine, he's just gearing up for that push that is normally so effective, but remember, he's doing it from a position of not getting much done. Granted, when you go for builds like this, when you proxy things, it messes the timings of everything up. So saying, oh yeah, he's gonna try to hit that 7-minute timing is not really a fair assessment. Okay, so Blink is done. 2 additional gateways are on the way. Is MAXPAX going for that kind of like delayed 4-gate idea that we have seen him do in the last game as well, where it's like, well, yeah, I got 3 bases, so I don't really, it's not a 4-gate, and it's hitting it, 5:36 minutes instead of earlier, but you're still going to be active on the map. You're still going to warp a bunch of stalkers, and you're still going to try to put some pressure on Heromarine. Now, of course, Heromarine, first part, he's moving out really early with this. He's moving out before medevacs, and that does add a lot of strength to this push just because it's not something that is expected. Stim is done, +1 is done, combat shields are done. In fact, MAXPAX realizing he needs every single unit he could possibly make it home to make sure he can make this hold happen, because that is 4 tanks. And I thought I saw 4 tanks. I guess because that is 3 tanks, and that is a lot of tanks indeed, as now the Marines are going to go on forward. They have not even stimmed yet, and there we go. There's the 4th tank. Probs are going to get pulled to defend this. The Warp Prism goes down immediately. Stalkers in an arc trying to do what they can, trying to knock these tanks down. But there is so much damage here. Of course, 3 tank shots just insta-give a Stalker. So much has died. 11 workers have died. Stalkers have died. The Warp Prism has died. And charge is not yet done. We're waiting on Fort Gateways to complete here. It looks like Heromarine, once again, he's found this opening where he can break MAXPAX. I don't know if the MAXPAX has the counterattack potential anymore. He does not have a Warp Prism. This 3rd base will die. And Heromarine hitting his timing with tremendous efficiency. He will be able to bust through MAXPAX here in this game number 3. And, or excuse me, game number 2. And he will be taking us tied up to it. Well, actually, as I say that, the Charizards will find this army. Star's got to be very careful at how far forward they blink, but this army of Heromarine is going to go down. And we're going to have to see whether MAXPAX can kind of make the counter happen after taking lots of damage. This time, it's only a 10 worker deficit, not a 20. This time, it was his 3rd base that went down. But maybe the Warp Prism, maybe with charge lots, maybe with a bunch of stalkers, he's going to be able to do something about it. Now, Heromarine is not going to attempt to take his 3rd base on location. In fact, his 3rd base is not done yet. So it looks like MAXPAX actually not going to go try to break this. He realizes that, yeah, there's just too much here for the Terran. It's not going to be one of those games where MAXPAX has the push happening. He's like, I'm up a supply. This is going to work. So instead, his hold of choice is going to be Storm. So now we have the distraction of Zealots on the 3rd base that will allow this. There's actually 2 Zealots. They're going to get some nice damage here in the main base. I'm hoping to just try to equalize things a little bit, but 5-6 workers will go down just for those 2 Zealots. That is starting to find some value. And realistically, all MAXPAX is doing is buying time. Warp Prism will get recalled out to make sure it doesn't die to the Viking that is inevitably going to be built by Heromarine. He's buying time for Storm. He's buying time, well, not for upgrades, because I don't think he has a Forge, actually. No, he does not. But buying time for Storm, buying time to warp in enough High Templars. That means that when Heromarine moves for the next push, well, he's going to be able to make something happen. That scan actually is not going to reveal High Templars. It just says, oh, there's a Warp Prism. There are a couple Zealots. That actually is going to be really nice here for MAXPAX. Now, excuse me. So now with the push getting started in earnest, the storms are getting dropped here, but really it's just not working. The storms are not strong enough. This 1-1 timing from Heromarine is going to overcome the storms. It's going to overcome the run by. And now we have what? Maybe 2 storms eventually. 2 storms in 20 seconds. Well, 1 storm in 10. So maybe that's going to be the timing here. But for now, I mean, the storms just didn't get enough done. Too many Marauders, too many tanky units that can kind of sit in storms for a second and not die. And now it's a 50 army supply deficit. I mean, much has been made of the ability of storms to bring you back into a game, but I don't think it's a 50 supply comeback here, especially with the superior upgrades that the Heromarine has. So, you know, unless the storms kill his entire army, he's just going to be trading so efficiently in such a superior way to what MAXPAX has now. The Doom drop in the main base. That is 6 medevacs worth of units, 7 medevacs worth of units, all dropping off in the main. The Zealots are going to try to run through that choke, but that is not a choke you can fight into. The Storms are going to try to do what they can. They're going to be really good, actually. But the Concaves are still there, and the tanks firing from below. Even with those really good storms, it is still a massive supply deficit. Maybe there's going to be one more storm. Actually, we're going to see the Zealots get bulldogged, or Stalkers actually get bulldogged on top of the tanks, but it's not going to be enough. GG. Heromarine ties things up 1-1. So Heromarine is realizing that, you know what, that build kind of worked last time. I mean, I don't think it worked because of the proxy Reaper, but yeah, it worked. He's gonna do it again, but this time he's not proxying his Reaper on his opponent's side of the map. No. He's just macro-axing it. He's putting it outside of his third. MAXPAX will say, oh, hey, you have nothing in your base. That's not great, so I'm gonna drop a pile out here just to prevent that wall. This is a really cool, very recent adaptation. I mean, I started to see Protoss players do this. What? Very, very, very recently. I'm thinking within the last week or so has really been that whole, oh, you know, if you're gonna put any building on the map, I'm just gonna block your wall. We're gonna have the Zealot running across the map here, trying to find some pressure of its own. The probes are gonna be in time to kind of deal with this eBay block, so it's not gonna be 100% complete. So the Zealot runs by. MAXPAX looks like he wants to get very aggressive here. I think we might see an adjusted MAXPAX. Was this pylon? I think this is going to be a second gateway. Interesting. It's going to be a robo here from MAXPAX. Now, this allows him to circumvent the wall. Allows him to build Immortals, which are, you know, very strong early game units. And there's actually not a wall right now. I mean, that means now that with this push, Heromarine has to knock the pylon down. Because otherwise, the high ground vision is going to be too powerful. The lack of a wall is going to be too much of a problem. So this is going to be about, how many gateways are we at right now? This is going to be effectively 2-gate robo here. As its natural is going to be delayed for forever today. Again, really the big deal also on top of that is the high ground vision. Oh, we're going to see him try to do it. Is he going to get it? Nice on Burrow there. So you can dodge Widowmine shots with an Adept. It requires a lot more timing than just kind of blinking out of it, but it is possible. Now, of course, with the 2 Widowmines here, it's really hard. It's going to be very hard for MAXPAX to trade properly because he is always going to be forced to trade 1 unit away. Pretty much every Widowmine shot. But now there's an Immortal out. And Immortals can tank 1 Widowmine shot. I don't know that they can tank 2. But it's going to be very difficult here for MAXPAX to break through. As this is all in, make no mistake about it. His Warp Gate is just about done. Warp Prism on the way as well. Has 2 additional gateways, so soon to be 4-gate Blink. Okay, or 4-gate Warp Prism. And there, okay, the Adepts go. Oh, what a mind game there. The Adepts will be allowed to complete. That means one Widowmine goes down immediately, but doesn't matter because the other one is going to get 2 Adepts. At the end of the day, like, wow, MAXPAX, he saved a unit. It does not really matter. But now with this Warp Prism on out, the Viking's actually going to make this life really complicated. You're not just going to have the free kind of the free maneuverability that a Warp Prism does provide here. But now Stark's going to find their way into the main base. We're going to see the Widowmine, or excuse me, the Medevac go down in, well, pretty quickly. There it is, as the SCVs get pulled. And the Warp Prism, you have to be very careful with what you put into it, because it's down on like 1 HP. One more Viking shot kills it off. Okay, so at this point, MAXPAX really is not going to be able to break Heromarine all that easily. It's going to be hard for Heromarine to move down the ramp, but on the same token, really, MAXPAX can't really move up the ramp. So he's building a couple of depths, which of course can kind of shade in and force difficult decisions from Heromarine. But he's also getting a sentry, because he wants to be able to kind of force field, to threaten the force field here, cut this army kind of halfway off, and then maybe that will allow him to find the damage that he's looking for. Now the depths are going to shade on in, forcing the army of Heromarine once again back, because every time the shade's happening, you really can't do much. But now Liberator in the main base, oh, this is a problem. There is no anti-air right now. Stalkers can warp in maybe, but actually MAXPAX is supply blocked. Heromarine moving down is actually going to be a nice little benefit here for MAXPAX. It means he can warp in Stalkers at home, but excuse me, but instead he's going to try to warp in Stalkers across the map. He's going to try to break his opponent, and Heromarine says, no, I will not be broken. GG, MAXPAX, he falls down. Heromarine, he takes game 3. So I don't know that we're going to see crazy aggression here on Glittering Ashes. Of course, Glittering Ashes is a rightfully massive map. It is, what is it? You effectively get like 9 bases. It's the biggest map we've had in quite a while, and a lot better than Ice and Chrome. I believe Ice and Chrome had 18 total bases on that map as well. But that was much more choked out. It was much more kind of a turtley for turtley's sake map versus this map that actually has a much more dynamic setup, where Ice and Chrome, the game state kind of was pretty similar as as people kept expanding, right? Bases did not really become more vulnerable as the game continued, which is what you really want to see in setups like this. On Glittering Ashes, yeah, it's still kind of a turtle-ish setup, but the game really does become more dynamic as the game goes late. It's much easier to push kind of these outlying bases than it is the interior ones, and that just makes the game a lot more interesting. As it will be a 3 racks play from Heromarine in game number 4 here. We'll see Heromarine now just killing off the unbuildable plate, or at least killing off the idea of the unbuildable plate, because he's not going to complete that job just yet. MAXPAX first part, it's a blink opener. He has 1 gateway. He's going to get at least a second one. We're going to have to see just how committed he is to the idea of a bunch of blink stalkers. The Marines are going to move down the ramp here, get an adept for their troubles. Not too bad. MAXPAX, again, he's just... The fact that he sees how many Marines there are and he's going to see more is really the key thing. That's going to be the scout more than anything else, more than... I mean, sure. You get the main base and you see 3 barracks, you know what's up, but... if we're talking about implicit scouts, things that you see that you can kind of figure out what's happening based on whatever everything else is happening, what people used to call star sense, seeing these Marines is going to be that tell that, yeah, okay, my opponent's going to be aggressive here. So we should see MAXPAX drop an additional gateway or 2, certainly not do the 2 gate expand. So there we go. We're seeing the 3rd gate go down. Take a delayed 3rd base, maybe take it at 420 instead of 350, so he can have more units out on the ground. And again, you're not going to take a quick 3rd base with a 3 gate expand anyways. But again, just be ready for the pressure, because eventually, right around that 5-minute mark, when stim is done, when combat shields are done, you're going to see 21 odd Marines run across the map, a couple Marauders, and they're going to stim into a base. They're going to try to maybe kill it off, but really they're going to try to kill as many probes as possible. All right, so actually MAXPAX is going to get aggressive. Oh, I don't know how I feel about this. He's going to get aggressive. He's going to find the, well, you know, on the flip side, he will be able to start harrying this army as it runs across the map. And of course, every stim is, you know, 20% damage on the HP of all these units. So actually, Stark's going to find the middle. So they're going to find some rally as well. I'm just going to say, I don't know how I feel about this because, you know, it feels like you're going to lose the Stalkers. But, you know, with a good enough blinks, the MAXPAX is blinking really well. He's going to be able to take a lot of damage out of this army before the push happens in earnest. And that means that, honestly, oh. I hit the wrong button. I'm sorry. Hello there, Captain Canuck. I meant to save a replay, and instead I introduced MAXPAX again. Sorry about that, folks. Yeah, anyways, this push from Heromarine has been stalled out by the kind of counter push there of MAXPAX. Now, we do have, what is this, 8 Marines. They're going to try to run on into the third base, maybe stim down a bunch of probes a little bit later. But for right now, that big timing of a bunch of Marauders and Marines and things like that, it's just not going to be allowed to happen. So, for now, MAXPAX, he has pretty much any position on the map that he could possibly want. The world is his oyster. More and more gateways coming down. Stalkers will be able to defend this. It's going to be a dead scouting. Oh, not even. He's not going to snap that down. MAXPAX, of course, doubling his base count. He's going to go for that style that he tried to come back with in game number 3, where he went and said, ah, yes, I'm going to go storm, I'm going to go charge, it's going to be fine. But we got to remember, this game, he's doing this from a even position, not a position where he is heinously far down. It means the storm is going to be a lot faster. It means he's going to have a lot more on the ground to buffer it, and it's not going to be 1-1 versus 0-0. It's going to be 1-0 versus 0-0, which is much, much more manageable. Now we got the push of Heromarine. He's going to find its way in before Storm is done. As we see MAXPAX just kind of shuffling what is in and what is not in this War Prison to make sure he has the high energy High Templars dropping out first. Here we are. Storm is done. Stalkers moving forward, getting on top of Medevac maybe, but certainly getting that Marauder. And that is going to be an absolutely massive storm. All these Marauders are getting so low. The Marines are just all dying. So it looks like they're like, you know, somewhere between, I think, 3 and 5 storms in this army, which is going to be enough for MAXPAX to maybe make this push happen. Now, he does have to be careful of Widowmines, and having this detection early on is nice. It means one Widowmine is going to go down. Toot sweet. Now, storms being dropped here. High Templars are looking for that damage that they really so desperately need, because honestly, this army for MAXPAX cannot fight unless it has very heavily softened up the army of Heromarine. But if he's able to do that, well, that is going to be fantastic indeed, as now more and more Zealots do get warped in. And there we go. Storms. Oh, that's actually going to get a medevac too, but there's enough healing for now that this army's not getting too softened up. It's certainly trying desperately to take a third base. Storms on the back lines of this army, trying to do what they can. That's actually going to be a massive one here. MAXPAX looking to shred on in. Yes, there are some Widowmines. Yes, they're causing problems, but so many Zealots. They're warping on in, and the rest of the Widowmines, they're trying to burrow, and they're just not going to be successful. GG, folks. We're going to game 5. MAXPAX. He ties it up. 2-2. In the bottom left here, in the red, taking games 1 and 4. Trying to turn that into a pattern. Taking game number 5. He is MAXPAX. MAXPAX fun boy. I mean, I was on a team with MAXPAX for a while, so a little bit biased in that position, but you know. Anyways, Nipper right in the blue. Trying to take another EPT Cup. Or excuse me. Here at Big Gabe Weekly is Heromarine. What happened for sure is MAXPAX broke Heromarine. He punched on through. He got some really good storms. was able to overwhelm with just tons and tons and tons of zealots. Heromarine never got his third base down because Heromarine did not get enough damage done with the early pressure, and when you don't get damage done with the early pressure, it puts you behind, and when you're behind, you die. Yes, wow, the baiting question. Yes, robotics, PhD. Don't let Faucheurs know I said that, though, because he's going to accuse me of just flexing my PhD to flex it. So no Proxy Reaper here in this game number 5. Heromarine did it twice. It worked twice. He said, well, you know, I don't know that I want to do that anymore. That's fine. So for now, it's going to be standard. I kind of feel like we're going to see some sort of Widowmine drop from Heromarine in this game. It's not something that he normally does, but it's also not something that we've seen in this series. So if you're going to throw something out there that Heromarine can do, I mean, he can do it well. He just tends to really just try to hit that timing, that +1 stim combat shield timing just a little bit harder. It makes sense to do something like that. And of course, over the last couple weeks, we have started to see Heromarine really mess around with doing playing builds outside of his standard of play. As there we go, the Reaper will go down. Things that, well, that take away from this idea that Heromarine is he's a system Terran. I think is the best way to talk about it. Where he has his stable of, you know, several stable builds that he looks to go for. Some are aggressive, some are defensive, but they're all just very meta. They're all very strong. They don't die to a lot of things. They don't hard counter a lot of things either, but, you know, they're just strong, and he drills and drills and drills and drills them, and he wins things like these EPT cuts just with execution. Just by doing it better, by just hitting that build 100%. And we have a player like MAXPAX who has his own build, sure, but he's very much more of like he plays by feel, kind of. So we have started to see Heromarine just try to break away from that kind of system Terran mentality, that system Terran reputation that we've seen him do. And look at that, it's going to be one of my drops. In game number 5, I called it, folks. Would you look at that one? Looks like it's only going to be like 2 Widowmines, though, so not a big commitment. Just pressure early on. That's something that can kill MAXPAX if he's not paying attention, but realistically, it shouldn't do too much. And of course, behind this, +1 stim combat shield. You all know the drill by now. I've said it enough. Second, third barracks are going to come down here as well. So what we're looking at is... Oh, never mind. The depth will not get in. The question we're looking at is how much damage does this Widowmine drop get? Is it just the, you know, 2 or less probes that you're normally going to get, or, you know, maybe 3 if you do it improperly, but minimal amounts of worker damage, right? Is that where we are? Or does Heromarine just kind of accidentally win the game by, you know, MAXPAX not paying attention, not getting the pull off properly, and then, you know, losing his entire mineral line? Because honestly, it's what can happen. Either it's not going to do a lot, but you kind of expect that's built into your build, or you can end the game, which is really kind of the best way, arguably, to play the game of StarCraft. You're instead of playing these super volatile ideas that either you win the game or you lose the game with them, but there's no in between. Instead, you go and you say, "Hey, I'm going to play this build that is fairly good." As a stalker, the stalkers will find the medevac here, and that Widowmine. Oh man, MAXPAX has held this one perfectly. We said, "Hey, you know what's going to happen? Is it going to be a game ending, like 12 workers go down, or is it going to be the 2 or less?" And actually, it's going to be the less here. As I believe 1 worker, yeah. Well, no, I guess he got 2 probes. No, one of those was a scanning probe. 1 worker went down. That was about it for medevac and 2 Widowmines. MAXPAX doing just perfect in that game. Once again, he's going to go for that classic idea. Charge is on the way. He has 3 gateways, so we can put some pressure on with the blink right now. But behind this, it's going to be a Templar Archives. It's going to be Storm. It's going to be Charge. And this first big push that Heromarine is going to look to hit with +1 stim combat shields, it's going to be stimming into Charge. It's going to be stimming into Storm. It's going to be stimming into a Protoss army that is very, very ready for it. That is tailor-made to hold this push. As the Stalkers here, they're just going to try to poke at the bunker, but there's this tank in each position. So not too much damage done, but also MAXPAX, he's not committing to this. He already warped in, like, 7 Stalkers, and most of those he was going to have anyways. So for right now, it's just pressure on the map. It is trying to figure out what exactly Heromarine is doing, where his army is, so he can be aware and he can harass the army a little bit as it moves out, and then drop storms on their head, because that's fun. Storms on head are the most important component of this series that MAXPAX is looking to play. Okay, so now Storm is done. Charge is done. We have gateways kind of filling out. And it looks like Heromarine, he's not going to hit this push after all. He kind of understands the scouting position, the position that he's in, and that MAXPAX is in a pretty good spot. So instead, Heromarine, well, he's maybe going to hit a push right when his stim and combat shields are +1 is done. But he's taking his third base first. And he's turtling that one on up. He's going to make it so he can develop his way into the mid game a little bit more. And MAXPAX is a very good late game PvT player. He has solid command of the invisible men. And he's very good at making sure that whenever his opponent moves out, he's got a counterattack of like 10 DTs and to kill a planetary. But MAXPAX has also kind of realized that, yeah, Heromarine is not really prepping for a timing. Like, I mean, the timing is available to him. His +1 is done. All the rest of the upgrades are done. But it looks like he's not really trying to hit it. So MAXPAX, he's got the Robo Bay down. He will be going into Colossus play, things like that. Stalkers, they will blink on forward here. Zealot's kind of coming in. And you know what? MAXPAX, he tried to make the break happen, but there was a Raven there, and that meant that there were no storms dropping down. The War Prism was forced to do nothing, but the Raven energy, I believe the Raven is dead, but the disable is done as well. And MAXPAX, he's gonna try to go for another timing. Tanks died this time. Stalkers will blink on forward here. Widowmine is not going to hit all that much, and Storms on top of the army are not going to be incredible. But, oh, he's going to get so many SCVs. 9 workers go down. The bunker does not die. And it looks like MAXPAX will be forced back here for a time as his supply is falling precipitously. But fear not, he does have Colossus beyond this. He is developing his deck a little bit more. He's getting his 4th base. And this Zealot is actually this Zealot has 7 kills. It's funny. It's like, you know, when we looked at depth pressure, it's all about the, it's not about the 10 adepts, the 15 adepts, the shade into a base. It's like the last 2 that look to do something. In this case, it's that single adept, that single Zealot that killed like 7-8 workers. Now some Stalkers arrive. They're going to get some free Widow Mines. It looks at least one of them is actually the Vitals chasing on top of this. And with concussive shells, I mean, these Stalkers are struggling to run away. 4th base is going to get canceled as well here. Heromarine is starting to swarm all over the map. That pressure, that attempted break for MAXPAX, the first idea may have been good. But losing, dealing with the fact that these High Templar were not able to pop out means this drop actually is going to get so much value at this point. Colossus is going to find his way on the high ground. It's just going to go down. The Storms are not good. Heromarine kind of baiting out the unload. Means that at this point, well, he's going to get a Colossus. He's going to get some High Templar, I believe. He definitely got the Forge. All nice damage here for the biggest of games. The second Colossus is a little bit threatened, but the Storms are going to drop down to defend it, and that means it's not really going to do all that much. Widowmines are going to do friendly fire, but now the Marines are going to get on top of this Colossus. It goes down. MAXPAX is committed to the Robotech, and instead his entire army, his entire commitment to Robotech has gone down. Now, Heromarine does have to be careful to maybe not overcommit too much here. He has killed the 4th base. That's great. His army is not all that strong, at least not all that strong separately. So we'll be forced back for now. We got +2 attack on the way. No second eBay, by the way. He's still Heromarine, kind of very much committing to his relatively low tech timing, and he does have ghosts on the way by now. Enhanced shockwaves are done, so they are really half the health of these Zealots are going to go away pretty quickly. It's going to be harder and harder for the High Templar to find value. At MAXPAX, he's trying to take his 4th base, but he's really going to have this 4th base done right around the same time the 4th base of the Terran is done, and that's really not what you want. Your goal, and any set like your goal playing this style that MAXPAX is playing is always to be 1 base, 2 bases ahead of the Terran, because that's where, you know, things start to be pretty viable. Now, we did see Astrea come back against Bjorn in a game like, not in a game like this, but in a game where he was down multiple bases over Bjorn, or under Bjorn, I guess, for the majority of that game. But that was a game where he had gone mass carrier, and he just was kind of able to kind of hit a +2 carrier max out and say, okay, well, good luck. But now one of my drops coming in from Heromarine at this point. Is MAXPAX paying it? Oh, he's not. The pull is not going to be there in time. One of my shots are going to wipe out this entire mineral line. 14 workers go down. Two one of mine's die, but you're going to be very happy about that if you are Heromarine, because at this point, Heromarine is up, what, 30 army supply. He has his 4th base on location just about the same time the MAXPAX's 4th base is done. He's up 50 supply in total. And you got to be careful about these Vikings. You don't want to lose them. But the storms are not, the first storm at least is not going to land. I don't know how many storms we have in this army. I mean, I know we have 3 High Templar, but I don't know how much energy is there. But a MAXPAX cannot be allowed to move out on the map. Heromarine is just disallowing that at this point. His army is too damn strong. And he's going to have a 2 upgrade lead coming in rather soon. I'm kind of surprised to not see Heromarine pushing in, but I guess, you know, with the potential for disruptors and the Colossus and the High Templar, it is something where you got to be a little bit careful. It is very, even as strong as Heromarines army it is somewhat easy to lose it. So we will see him for now finally getting the push off in earnest, scanning off, and I believe this is, yeah, we're gonna see storm drops on the 3rd base here. But what this means is A, only 8 workers go down, which is something, but it's not, it just equalizes the worker count. B, that is High Templar. That is a lot of storms that are not with this army. I guess MAXPAX saying that, look, I have enough splash damage regardless, as the disruptor shots are going to start to hit really big here. That 30 army supply lead, that 40 army supply lead is not there anymore. Immediately, MAXPAX equalizing the score with 1 single disruptor shot. And because there's not a lot of Vikings, he can't really deal with the Colossus either. So Heromarine, he was in a great spot. But MAXPAX has absolutely equalized at this point. Even as I say that, though, Heromarine will find his way on into the 3rd base of MAXPAX here. He's going to supply block him. He's going to knock down this Robo, which means less disruptors per time. He's going to kill the base as well as he runs away. Oh, the storms are not going to land. The EMP is on top of all the High Templar, and the Warp Prism going down is going to be fantastic. Now, Vikings from the far and opposite side here kind of flanking things, but it does mean that I believe, yeah, these Colossus are going to go down. It's all about the gateway units. It's all about the disruptors. But it looks like MAXPAX is going to have enough of that for now. He's going to be able to push this opponent back again. The Vikings will go down as more and more disruptors are getting added. Link Stalker Disruptor is a fantastic comeback composition. But now we MAXPAX in position here, getting aggressive here, looking to find some sort of value. Disruptor shot 1 finds no value. Disruptor shot 2 gets 2 Marauders. He's looking for that douchey shot, though. He's not finding it just yet. But now we have the Concave with the base lifted here. The SCVs are trapped on the right side. Stark's going to blink under the base, try to put it burning at the very least, maybe kill it off. And MAXPAX looks like he's breaking through. He was in such a bad spot the majority of this game. But that one disruptor shot, as Heromarine looked to push on in, was the difference. Now MAXPAX, he's up 20, 30 army supply. Now MAXPAX, he has an additional base. Now he is mining, well, he is mining less. That is something. But he has traded better. It went from that being about 1,000 resources down to about 3,000 resources up. As Heromarine, he's looking desperately for this trade. He's up an upgrade. It doesn't really matter. This base is going to go down here. It's going to burn. The SCVs are dying in exchange. The Archons are trying to, the Archons are just going to knock them down. The base goes down. The army is going down here. Now, that being said, the army supply is starting to equalize just a little bit, but the economic damage that MAXPAX has done in this game is really significant. It's not one of those games where, like, you've traded army for economy and now your army's down and their army's big and you got to defend. He's traded just about evenly army for economy, and in general, he's traded much better. So we're going to have to wait for more weapons in here from MAXPAX, but he is really in pole position. His opponent is on effectively 1 base, as MAXPAX takes his 5th. So instead of being down 750 minerals plus per minute, he's up just about 500. Or I guess that's actually closer to 800. Here's the disruptor shot. Oh, that's going to be massive. Your Stark's blinking out forward. This may be the break-even point. That Just getting so many Marines there. I couldn't tell you how many. I wish I could. We don't have Observer Plus. It means that MAXPAX is just really, really knocking Heromarine for a loop at this point. It's a plus 50 supply lead. He's getting more and more disruptors. The upgrade lead, Heromarine he does have a 2 upgrade lead. That is something, but it's going to go away very soon, as it's going to be 3-2 coming in for MAXPAX as well. And he has the benefit of Chrono. It doesn't take him quite as long to build these upgrades as it did Heromarine. So really what Heromarine looking right now, he's looking for the big flank. He's looking to be able to get a big concave. He's looking really to take that kind of fight right there and slowly whittle away at this army. Slowly they take it to the point where he can just take one big straight up fight. The disruptors are going to go off here, and it's going to be a big shot, but he's going to get 2 or 3 4-haste troubles. Is that enough here with this upgrade lead? Is that going to be enough for Heromarine to push through? It certainly is enough to push MAXPAX back for now. And honestly, MAXPAX would be in a much worse spot if that final disruptor shot had not landed. But still, it is single disruptor at a time here because the one robo died about 5 minutes ago. But Heromarine, at least in his army, is maintaining supply here. He is starting to fight back. He has traded about 2,000 resources better over the last minute or so, last 2 minutes. He is going to be able to kind of take this 4th base again. That base, actually, that is the original orbital from that 3rd. So that's going to be something. Starkers warp on, or blink on forward here. Just getting a Marauder for their trouble, not losing too much of their own. And MAXPAX is very much at that game where he can afford to take bad trades. You know, he is up, almost 1,000 resources, minerals a minute at this point, up a couple, like 200 gas. As long as he's not trading really, really badly, he can trade it. He can take an inferior trade because he knows that Heromarine will not be able to replace at the same level he will. But Heromarine has found his position into this 5th base. Zealots, of course, on the counterattack. They're going to have something to say about that one. Heromarine, again, difficult decision. Do you attack? Do you try to knock your opponent's base down? Or do you go back? Do you defend? Do you try to make sure that you keep your base alive? In a game like this, it's so hard to make that decision here as the Colossus here is finding so much value just over time. There are no Vikings in this army anymore. Yeah, we're going to see some get made, but it's going to take him a while. He's only able to afford 1 Viking at a time. And now we have a Heromarine. He's only mining off of 1 base at this point, but he's going to try to take the fight right here, right now. The EMP is on the army, but Stalker's going to blink on forward. Medivacs are going to go down. Honestly, that could have been a whole lot worse. Stalker is primarily getting the Medivacs that are not full of units, that are empty. The disruptor shot barely not landing. And that could have been a lot worse here. EMPs are going to blanket the entire army, looking for something. But there we go. That's the shot. GG, MAXPAX. He comes back from a 2-1 deficit. He takes game 5. He takes the series.